right now we're going to go to, he was the last place kicker for the University of Alabama under the legendary Coach Paul Bear Bryant, known as one of those Bryant boys right now. Peter Kim, welcome back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, sir. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing very well. How are you?
It's great. Yeah, absolutely. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa. Big celebration here with this national title.
I'm sure you're doing that. I was watching the game, and I was so proud of the team, and I enjoy every minute of it. So I'm glad you guys are having a great time down there.
No doubt, no doubt. And we certainly want to spend some time looking at Coach Bryant, your playing days at the University of Alabama. But let me walk you back to that championship night. What was your reaction when you see that touchdown pass from Tua Tagovailoa to Devontae Smith, and Alabama was able to win another national title?
I tell you what, I was so thrilled, and the way he threw the ball, and the way he conducted himself. You know, when he got sacked, and when he threw the interceptions on the sideline, the young man had such a poise, and he put himself under the control. And I have nothing but great things to say about Tua, and I was very, very impressed. And obviously, I was jumping up and down along with my friends, and we had a great time. So that was a good thing. That was a gift for the new year.
No doubt about it. Peter Kim right now with us. Peter, if I could go back, being from the island that you're from, and obviously Tua Tagovailoa, when's the first time you ever heard the name Tua Tagovailoa?
Actually, believe it or not, his high school coach was my high school football coach. And obviously, he and I went to different schools, but my high school football coach has been coached there at, that particular high school for a total of over 25 to 30 years in two different occasions, and have won many, the state championships. In fact, I never got to meet Tua in person. When I was in Honolulu, when I was coaching at the school where Tua went to, because I go there to help place kickers and punters upon the request of my old high school coach, and I was seeing him practice his junior year actually, and in fact, the kicker had such a bad time that year. I actually went to one of the championship games, I believe, Tua played. I watched him on the sideline. He was junior, I believe was, and he had one hell of a game. And I knew that he was going to be a great college football player. The way he makes the decisions, he doesn't hesitate. He makes a very sense of feeling on the field. He picks the receivers, and he doesn't second guess it. He just launches it. So I had experience. Tua doesn't know this. I don't think he knows that I was on the sideline, one of the championship games, very last game of his junior year that I went to the game on the sideline.
Wow. Peter.
Yeah, actually, I was coaching on the field. The place kicker.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, certainly your expertise. Was that Coach Lee, Ron Lee, or would that have been Cal Lee?
Both. Actually, Ron Lee was the head football coach, at Kaiser High School, where I went to school.
Okay.
And Coach Cal was assistant coach, defensive coordinator. When they moved from Kaiser High School to St. Louis High School, which Tua went to, his position got completely changed, and Ron became the offensive coordinator, and Coach Cal became the head coach. And it's been like that for the last 25, 30 years. They have been there.
Yeah, certainly legends, as we've been told. We had Jerry Glanville on a little bit ago, and he told us, he said, Cal Lee and Ron Lee, he said, they're legends. He said they can run for governor out there and win. He said they're that popular out there.
Very much so. And this year they won another state championships. If I'm guessing right, I think St. Louis have won under the direction of Cal and Coach Ron Lee. I think have won over 30 championships in 40 years, maybe 33. One time they have won 17 or 19 in a row, the state championships.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're a legend, and everybody knows him, and everybody loves him. And I don't know how many more years they're going to coach, but they obviously have done one heck of a job and produced so many quarterbacks. And one thing good about Coach Ron and Cal, which I helped in and out for the last, 25 to 30 years, I only go there to help them when they really need help because they beat everybody by 30 points. I mean, they really don't need a place kicker there, but I help up on their request because I enjoy seeing them and spend time with them. So,
Peter, can you walk us through the story of how you left a scholarship there to come to the University of Alabama and play for Coach Paul Bear Bryant?
Well, my freshman year, our second game of the season, playing for University of Hawaii, and I love Hawaii. Hawaii had a great coach, and we had a up and coming program. Obviously, the football back in the days in '78 in Hawaii wasn't nearly as big as Alabama. And second game of the season, I had an opportunity to go up to Lincoln, Nebraska, and play there. And Coach told me who signed me a scholarship at Hawaii. He was such a great coach. He had us believe that we could have beat Nebraska. And being a freshman and the second game of the season, I was really pumped up that we could have beat them. And obviously, wasn't the case. And first the quarter was like 35-0 or something. I mean, it was kind of a lopsided game. But I had a great game against Nebraska. And when I saw the crowd, number of the players and number of the fans and the all red in the stadium, it was nothing like what I experienced in Hawaii. So I realized that, wow, this is what college football is all about on a top 10 football team. So, I had an idea of maybe I should transfer out. So it gave me an eye-opening experience in Nebraska. That kind of led me to thinking that, well, maybe I got to go, apply for a couple other schools. And that year, I was so impressed with the goal line stand against the Penn State, and Alabama won the, national championship. I said, well, if I'm going to play, in the mainland, for one of the best teams, why not play for the best team in the country? And that was the reason why I decided to come to Alabama. Apply to Alabama as well as Nebraska, and there's another school that I applied was Oklahoma, and Alabama actually showed the least interest. Nebraska actually promised me a scholarship if I did become a starter, but somehow I don't know what it is. But it was a matter of me buying the tickets to go to one of the three schools, and I bought the ticket to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and that was the best decision I ever made. I was lucky enough to, not only being lucky, but it was a privilege to play football for Coach Bryant. And Coach Bryant, the way he is, he didn't have to give me a scholarship, but he actually gave me a scholarship 2.5 months I arrived in Tuscaloosa. So he worked out better than going to other schools, and I cherish that. And, actually playing football at Alabama for Coach Bryant has been the backbone of my business that I'm currently doing for the last 30 years.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that as far as your business approach. I mean, do you catch yourself doing things that Coach Bryant taught you daily?
Absolutely, because, Coach Bryant, I played the last 4 years of Coach Bryant's career. I saw the most gentle side of Coach Bryant, and those 4 years that I was, playing for him, Coach Bryant never really did coach X's and O's. He was always talking about life as the football. That was more important for him, for us to understand that there is a life as the football, that life is harder than playing football. And at my age of 21 at the time, I didn't comprehend 100% what he was talking about because back in the days, we didn't have a water available to us anytime during the practice. We had to take a knee, 4 or 5 times during the practice, and the managers run the water. By the time the water gets to you, you get probably lost about half the cup, and our cup was only about, I want to say, I don't remember, but maybe no more than 8 ounces. So you get a 4 ounce every 20 to 30 minutes during the hot summer days. That was one of those things, and it was very difficult, but he was talking about life after football at the time. I didn't realize, but after I graduated, that really sunk into my mind. And yes, it was very difficult, and that really helped me to overcome a lot of the obstacles and the difficulties that we face in our livelihood. So I still do things based on what I have learned from Coach Bryant. So,
is there a favorite quote of Coach Bryant that you like to recall?
There's so many of them, but the one that I like so much is the expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. I like that quote so much that I'm in the food business, and I actually print those Coach Bryant's quotes on the cup, so people can kind of I can remind people about expect the unexpected, and it happens all the time in our life, and it is simple. But Coach Bryant have always said that every day, at least 2 times a day, before and during the practice. So that really sticks with me at all times.
Can I walk you back to Coach Bryant's 300th victory? I believe you had a very successful game that particular game.
I sure did. That was my first year, and I think it was the 3rd or 4th game of the year. And I know I did. The broke the school record, I believe, was 4 field goals, and was against Kentucky. Played in Birmingham instead of Tuscaloosa, because back in the days we used to play bigger games in Birmingham and the smaller games in Tuscaloosa. So it was my second big game played in Birmingham. So I was very excited, and there was a lot of press coverage about Coach Bryant reaching the 300 wins, and but to be honest, I was first year I was so concentrated on performing well. I really didn't know until a year later how big that was, and being part of the 314 and 15. I realized that how much of the country had respect for Coach Bryant and the Alabama football, and doing practice where so many dignitaries and the celebrities have visited us, and it was a very, very good experience that I had in Tuscaloosa. I have nothing but great memories about Tuscaloosa.
Well, it's something, your name comes up often when we begin to talk about kickers and Alabama history, and certainly you look back and the connection that you've had with Alabama fans. When you look at obviously what's happening now under Nick Saban, we had a guy that just tied Coach Bryant for national titles. We never probably thought that would ever happen again, but Nick Saban has made us super proud here in Tuscaloosa.
I mean, absolutely. I had a pleasure of seeing Coach Saban in November this year, and I have got to meet with him through Coach Mel Moore. By the way, Coach Mel Moore was my offensive coordinator. So, Coach Saban done one heck of a job, and he helped the players, after the football life. And I have nothing but great things to say about Coach Saban. And you're absolutely right. Who would have thought that someone would win 6 national championships in such a short time? And I have nothing but wishing Coach the best, and being a part of Alabama football family. I mean, I take my hats off to Coach Saban.
Well, Peter, thank you again. And I wanted to slip in one quick question. I've only got about a minute here left before I've got to go. But Alabama's just hired a special teams coach a couple of weeks ago, and he's a kicker from the Pac-12 that punted and was place kicking. How great is that for a kicker to have somebody to go to that's been a specialist that can understand the when you guys get in some valleys and you have to correct those mechanics to sort of get you back on track? How valuable will that be?
Yeah, I mean, that is very valuable. If you get a proper coach who can teach you the basic fundamentals, actually kicking fundamentals have gone out the window the last, more than 10, 15 years due to the NCAA regulation. They only can have so many so many coaches on the field. And one of the first people got let go was not the special team coach, but the kicking coach and punting coaches. And not too many coaches. I mean, the school has a kicking coaches. I think it's very, very important to learn the basics of fundamentals of a kicking, because I thought that was missing in college football last 10, 15 years.